G'day folks, it's Cortezerino. Today I've got for you a Minecraft showcase video. I've got more than 30 little builds here for medieval farms or even medieval villages just to bring the place to life. And if you've watched some of my time lapses or videos of my builds, you will recognize a lot of these little features. They are all features that I've used myself or that I am planning to use. And we're not doing the buildings here, the big windmills or farmhouses. These are all just the little additions to put around them. So to begin, we have a series of wagons and wheelbarrows. The first one is very simple. Pretty much everyone knows this one already. It's just a cauldron with a few trapdoors around it and a fence gate handle. But here it's a slightly larger version with two upside down spruce wood stairs, and you can actually carry a crate on this one. So we've just got a crafting table to act as a little box of some goodies. Then we've got a really cool little compact wagon that's small enough to be pulled by a horse or even a human. So we've just got a few trapdoors down here, a few spruce trapdoors, stairs, fence post and fence gates. And this one is the same thing, but we've just put some signs for walls here and mixed a different coloured trapdoor in there. And in 1.14 we'll be able to use spruce signs, so that will look even better. And it's actually my preference though, not to have these ones on the sides. I think it looks better like that, but I just thought I would show you both versions. Now, if you've got wheelbarrows and wagons, you will need a few stacks of things that they've been wheeling around all over the place. Super simple one, of course, is hay bales, but also we can do stacks of crates. We'll have the barrels in 1.14, but it's good to remember the old ways of doing things with note blocks and crafting tables and chests. So don't get in the habit in 1.14 of just using barrels. Remember the old ways, and you can keep using these designs. Next we've got a little well here, and this one actually has what looks to be a working rope. So the iron bars go up there to a little circular thing and down here, but if you wanted to, if you didn't like this bit at the front, you could just knock that off and just have the iron bar dropping down below. Next one, everyone knows this, the stack of logs with the minecart rail over the top to hold them in place. But not many people think of doing planks. So once you've chopped up all your wood, you're going to have a big stack of wooden planks and also a little station here for chopping them all up. Next one, we've got a little fire pit here with a cauldron cooking away and some seats on the sides. Now, if you don't have fire tick turned off, then these wooden fences here will burn, so you might want to put a magma block in there instead. But if you've got fire turned off, the fire spread turned off, then that is a nice little addition for your medieval farm. Also, we've got an outdoor furnace. So if you've maybe got stables and need to be doing some metal working, you can have this outside, and it's just a nice little detail. And of course, the kids probably want something to do for fun at the farm, so we've got a little archery range right here. And I might quickly show you how to make these banners. So the first step in your crafting table is to get a yellow banner with an oxide daisy right there and a piece of red dye, and you get this banner. And put the banner in the center with yellow dye all the way around. Then the banner in the center with the yellow dye up the top, and same thing again but with the yellow dye down the bottom, and that is your banner complete. And the next few builds are much more organic. All farms have overgrown looking areas, and these add really nice detail to your build. They also look good on the edges of paths or around tree lines. So here we have a great big rock. I've built this one on flat ground, but you can build them on sloping ground as well. So we've got a bunch of bushes around here, a few ferns, and that is a nice little detail. Next one is the same sort of thing, but this time it's a mound of earth covered in bushes. And again, we've got a little bit of grass and a few ferns, and I'm putting podsole underneath all the bushes because bushes in real life never have green grass underneath. Next one is a tree stump, but I've also made sure to mix in some of the other features of the last two builds. So we've also got a rock in there, and we've also got a bunch of bushes. This is just to show you how you can alter the way all your little details here look. So maybe you've got a tree stump with just a couple of bushes like that rock up the front, and you might have another one on top of a rock and another one with bushes all around it, so you can make every one of them look a little bit different. And I'll have the world download in the description so you can grab this, and when you're building you can just quickly open this world and get some ideas of how you're going to build these things. Next thing, we've got a little pond here, and you'll notice there's no sugarcane or lily pads, the typical things we usually put around ponds. I've left them out intentionally just to show you all the other details we have now. The big one is seagrass. Seagrass looks so realistic. So if you've got a really big pond, don't fill up the entire area with seagrass. Just in the shallows around the edges. Looks really, really good. And we've also got the extra tall seagrass, which I think looks fantastic. And you can also mix in little bits of kelp just for a slightly different weed in your water. And you can also do higher kelp. We've got a too tall one there. I've also mixed in a few sea pickles, and of course the little fishies. I've just got a few seats around our pond there. The next three are just some variations of paths that I really like to use. So here is just a path block path with some coarse dirt mixed in and a few spruce slab stairs. This is good for paths that aren't really used very often off the main road, so to speak. But the next one is a main road. This one is mostly gravel with a bit of cobblestone and stone mixed in with cobblestone slabs for the stairs. So this would be your main road, and this is just the little roads leading off it. And you don't want one of these path block roads coming straight off this. You need an in-between sort of road. So this is halfway between the two. So we've mixed in a bit of gravel into the path blocks, and we're using cobblestone slabs for the step up there. And so you would have this as your main road, and if you're leading off onto one of them, you would use this as the transition between the two roads. And the next line of builds are some different ideas for what you are farming at your farm, because no farm only farms one thing. Even if it's a wheat farm with wheat fields all around, you've always got at least a vegetable patch or something like that, and so you can mix in these different ideas to different farms to give them their distinct character. So here we've got a little melon patch. It's a very organic design. Got some jungle leaves around as a fence with a few fence posts and just all the melon plants planted in a haphazard way. Some brown concrete powder mixed in with the coarse dirt just for a bit of extra detail. Now the next two actually go together. I just wanted to show you two completely different ways of doing a vegetable garden that'll tell you something about the personality of the person living in the house. So the first design is very, very tidy. We've just got some garden beds here with some carrots and potatoes mixed in on that one. And in this one we've got some flowers on podsole. So this could be cauliflower or something like that. But the next one could be the house next door, is much more organic and overgrown, and many people might think is actually a lot nicer. So again, we've got some wheat here, a little bit of a pond with some lily pads, and the carrots and potatoes and the cauliflower again. We've even got some cocoa beans growing right there. Now the next idea is for fields. Now this is, you could do them this size, or you could do them much, much bigger. It's just a different option to wheat, so you don't have to plant wheat in every single field. This one is beetroot, and I think it looks fantastic. Another one that looks really, really beautiful. We've got some two tall flowers here planted on podsole, and I think they look absolutely gorgeous. So these are two really pretty different options you can use to wheat. And another option you can use that looks especially good in your wheat field. Not every field has to have wheat in it. You can just put down some coarse dirt And this looks like that field has just been harvested and tilled and is ready for planting again. So the last line of fields were just for little additions to your farm, but these ones are probably what your farm is going to be farming en masse. So here we have a wheat field, and I just wanted to show you how you can join your wheat fields together just in a really nice organic way. So I'm using jungle leaves with podsole underneath and just mixing in the odd fence post here and there, and every now and then putting two together, and that looks like a little gate or a way to step over the hedges into your fields. And these ones are pretty small, you might want to go for this size, but you could go 4 or 5 times larger with your fields and just have tons and tons of them. And here's an idea for a little addition to your fields. You've just got a hay bale here with some spruce trapdoors around it to look like a little barrel full up of wheat. And here is another addition that looks really nice in a wheat field, and this is like the rocks we did earlier. It's an overgrown, unused millstone. So if you've got a windmill in your farm, a brand spanking new windmill, this could be how they used to mill all their grain before they had the windmill. So the idea of this would be that there's a wooden beam going from this post in the middle through the wheel, and you'd have a horse tied up here, and the horse goes round and round in circles, rolling the wheel through this groove in the ground, and down there you'd have all your wheat seeds, grinding them into flour. So that is a very pretty little addition, a different option to putting a rock in your field. Now this one is super duper pretty. Maybe you don't want to do wheat fields, you want to do something a lot fancier. We've got grapevines, and this looks really nice as a vineyard. So we've just got some path blocks in between our lines, and you don't want to do straight lines for your vines because that looks a little bit boring. So we just curve them around like so. And we've got dead bushes for the stems of the vines and actual vines hanging off them every now and then just for a little bit of extra detail. And these are fun to build, and you can build them as far as the eye can see, and they look fantastic. But if you've got a vineyard, you want to have some little additions to go with it. So maybe in a wine cellar, you have your wine barrel here. So I think this is a really nice way of making a shape for a barrel that actually does look like a barrel, and we've got our bands going all the way around. So these posts on the sides, you need them just so this piece of rail sits up like that. We've got a little tap here with the cup underneath to catch the drips. And over here we've got a grape press, so you would put all your grapes in there and twist the handle at the top, and that would crush all your grapes to get the grape juice. But maybe you want to be a little bit more gross with the way that you get your grape juice. So here we've got one of those big barrels with all your grapes in there that you take your shoes off and you stand on them and squish them, and that's how you crush your grapes. A little bit grosser than that, but it does look pretty. That's just some purple coral, and I've got water underneath so the coral doesn't go all grey and die. And the very last one we've got here is a field of fruit trees. So I've done this much like the vineyard over there. We've got them in little lines like this, slightly different heights for a bit of variation, and again path blocks in between. And here is another little addition to your fruit trees. So I've got some barrels here, again with some red coral, and there's water underneath to keep it hydrated. So these are maybe barrels full of apples or plums. Depending on what fruit you want, you could use yellow coral in there to maybe be lemons or something like that. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope these ideas can help bring some real richness to your village or farm builds. And remember, there will be a world download in the description. So anytime if you're running out of ideas for your farm, you can open up the world and just copy in some of these details. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm Cortezerino. I'll see you later.